Good morning, trading world. It is March 25th, 2024, and this is my pre-market outlook and technical analysis for day trading the markets. The title for today's outlook: Holiday shortened week with a lot of influence on what happens next week. We are opening this Monday morning on the brink of a trap door. There is a huge air pocket under 52.72 that could really speed things up to the downside. My projection is for a bearish week. A lot of things coincide with this bearish week projection. However, it doesn't necessarily have to end up that way. But there is a lot of things that coincide with that bearish week projection. That flashing sell signal on the daily I talked about 2 weeks ago has now become a strong constant sell signal. The daily cycle low or trough is due between March 22nd and the 31st of March. The weekly cycle is coming into its bottoming phase, and its low is due between March 1st and April 15th. The other thing that's catching my eye this morning is the VIX has gapped up from its lows. Friday and possibly today may still be a good time to put on some VIX spreads for the quarter. And when it comes to the VIX, I put out a pre-market video on June 23rd of 23 if you want to go back and try to find it. But it explains how you should be looking at the VIX. So, with a bearish projection for the week and opening on the brink of a trap door, it does not mean we have to go down all week. In fact, today and maybe Tuesday, I have projections for a bullish day. If that happens, I plan on using that to re-up on some bearish positions. Let's get to the intraday levels. Alright, starting on the support side, it's going to be kind of crazy because I'm having to project where we'll be around the open and not where we started the morning. So what I have as the Jack support zone is actually 52.78. The Queen support zone is 52.72 and King support zone is 52.68. And if you notice, there's one above the Jack, and I guess we could kind of conclude the Jack support zone to be between 52.82 and 52.78. On the resistance side, we have our Jack resistance zone up to 52.92. Queen support zone is 52.96, and King support zone is 53.02. The important battleground to hold this morning is going to be this 52.68 all the way down to 52.58. In this no man's land, the more time we spend below this 52.63, the more likely we are to continue into have a bearish continuation. Now that means that trapdoor opens up and sucks us down even further. The more time we spend above this 5263, the more likely we are to push back and retrace for a bit. On the other end, the resistance battleground is between 5282 and 5292. In this battleground, the 5287 is the line of demarcation. The more time we spend above 5287, the more likely we are to retrace and possibly retest highs. The more time we spend below 5287, the more likely it is we open and go through the trapdoor this week. Let me talk about the reaction areas that I'll be looking at today. The first is 5277. The next is 5151. After that is 52. So I did that wrong. It should be 5250 here. 5250. And then 5151. And this kind of coincides with that big trap door where we could really flush down if we go through it. Then on the other side we have 5283. And then 5289. So those are the reaction areas I'll be looking for when it comes to the futures today. Like I said, even though we're flirting with that trap door, I don't think it's likely today, but you never know, so you have to be prepared just in case we do go through it. But I'm expecting a bounce to kind of take us back up and give me a chance to re-up on some short positions. This week could push way up at the end of the week, or as far as the projections I have is that we really sink low and really test and go through that trap door later on in the week. So that's what I'm looking at for this week and how I'm positioning myself. The scenarios for today. The most probable scenario is probably going to be a late starting range day with a bullish bias to it. And what I mean by that is that we're going to flirt with this trap door for a while this morning, and then probably about that 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock hour, we're going to start that bullish bias to the range day where we are going to keep pushing higher and basically back and forth a lot today, and finally closing up on a little higher today, or on the higher side today. But that's the most probable scenario, not by much, but it is the most probable, being that bullish biased range day. The next scenario Next most likely scenario is going to be a rounded reversal day, and at rounded reversal day we're already we have a decent sized gap down already. But usually we'll probably get some bounce to or in the pre-market that brings us back up, and by the time we get to the opening we can fall back down a good portion of the morning, get our midday chop where we level off, and then just as hard as we came back down, we're going to go back up. So that's our rounded reversal day type. And last but not least is our trend day down. We're already starting with a pretty decent sized gap down. By the time we get to the opening, what we'll do, we will try to come back and fill this gap for a large portion of the morning. And because VIX has kind of jumped up off of its lows, I feel like it's going to kind of give an irregular shape to the trend day model, where we're going to push up a good ways in the beginning, and we're going to come back down, start that, find resistance on or before filling that gap, and then we're going to come back down, but maybe not down as far as we've been pre-market, and then find a place to where we hit our midday chop, and then get that head fake going for the midday chop for a good period today before coming back down, but not as hard as we did this morning. That's kind of how I see the trend day playing out this morning. So those are the things I'm being prepared for, looking for early in the week pushes up to kind of re-up on some bearish positions that I'll be holding pretty much through April, or April 15th, that trough in the weekly. But I'll be rolling down every chance I get. So these are the things I'm prepared for. Remember, your most important job as a trader is to protect the capital you already have. You do this by knowing and understanding the risks you face in each position and also in the current market conditions. We manage that risk in accordance with our account size. I hope this helps. Wishing you a positive trading day. Let's go out and make it a great one.